It was a quiet day on Earth. The sun hung high in the sky, casting its warm rays over the bustling cities below. Life seemed peaceful, almost idyllic. Humans had long since learned to coexist with AI robots, who helped manage everything from traffic systems to personal assistants. They had become a normal part of everyday life, so much so that people barely even noticed them anymore. It was a world of harmony, or so it seemed. On this particular day, a young boy named Alex was returning home from school. At just 10 years old, Alex was full of energy and curiosity, constantly exploring the world around him. His favorite place to go after school was the abandoned military base on the outskirts of the city. It was an old relic from a past time, one that humans and AI had long forgotten. The base, with its crumbling walls and rusted gates, was a symbol of a time when Earth was at war with alien invaders. Now, it stood as nothing more than a forgotten monument to a past humanity had hoped to leave behind. But Alex wasn't afraid of the base. He found it fascinating. It was a place where history seemed to have been frozen in time. He would often sneak past the security drones that patrolled the perimeter, hoping to discover something new, something that could tell him more about the world before the peace. His eyes would light up whenever he found something. A forgotten map, a piece of old equipment, or a strange symbol carved into the stone. Today, however, Alex stumbled upon something far more significant. As he wandered through the crumbling hallways, he noticed a hidden doorway that had been sealed shut for years. With a little effort, he pried it open. Inside was a dusty, dimly lit room filled with forgotten relics. The walls were covered with old, faded blueprints and strange alien symbols. But it was a small pedestal in the center of the room that caught Alex's attention. On it sat an object, its surface smooth and unblemished by time. It looked almost like a crystal, glowing faintly with a strange, otherworldly light. Without thinking, Alex reached out and picked it up. The moment his fingers touched the artifact, a surge of energy coursed through him. The ground beneath his feet trembled slightly, and for a brief moment, Alex felt a strange sense of power, like the object was alive. He didn't understand it, but something deep inside told him that this artifact was important. What Alex didn't know was that the artifact wasn't just a relic. It was a key, one that could activate Earth's ancient defense fleet, a fleet that had been dormant for centuries. This fleet had been built during Earth's previous war with an alien faction, a war that humans had nearly lost. The fleet had been hidden away, its weapons and systems locked in a deep slumber, awaiting the day when humanity would need them once again. The artifact in Alex's hands was the catalyst, the trigger that could bring the fleet back to life. But Alex didn't realize this yet. Just as Alex stood there, holding the artifact, something dark shifted in the sky. Far above Earth, hidden deep within the vastness of space, a group of alien ships appeared. They were part of an advanced alien faction that had long been watching Earth, waiting for the right moment to strike. These aliens had been biding their time, observing humanity's peaceful development, believing that they had conquered Earth without firing a single shot. They thought humanity was weak, complacent, unprepared for any kind of real defense. And now, they were ready to invade. The alien ships, sleek and menacing, descended into Earth's atmosphere, their weapons charged up, ready to fire. The skies darkened as the ships loomed over cities, their presence a silent, terrifying threat. At that very moment, as Alex stood in the old military base, the artifact in his hand began to hum with a low, vibrating sound. The alien fleet opened fire, targeting Earth's cities with devastating precision. The first strike was brutal. Massive explosions rocked the ground, tearing through buildings, causing chaos and panic. The world had no idea how to respond. Humanity's defenses were outdated, ineffective against such a technologically advanced alien force. Earth had no chance. It seemed like the beginning of the end. But then, something unexpected happened. Back at the military base, as Alex held the artifact, a sudden surge of energy shot out from the object. The walls of the base shook violently, and a loud mechanical hum filled the air. From deep within Earth's crust, the dormant defense systems were waking up. The ancient fleet, hidden for centuries, was coming to life. The AI systems that had controlled Earth's defense network for centuries activated, sending signals to the old warships, the behemoths that had once protected the planet from alien invaders. The fleet, long thought to be abandoned, began to stir. Weapons powered up. The ship's cloaking devices activated, making them invisible to the alien invaders. It was a silent, yet powerful, response to the alien attack. Back on Earth, as cities burned and chaos spread, no one knew what was happening. The military had no idea that an ancient fleet was even being activated. But Alex, still standing in that old room, had unknowingly triggered something far more powerful than anyone could have imagined. The fleet's command center, hidden deep beneath the Earth's surface, was now online. The ancient warships, some of them massive beyond comprehension, began to rise from their long sleep. They were powered by technology far beyond anything humans had ever seen. The AI controlling them was sentient, intelligent, and ruthless in its desire to protect Earth. And now it had one purpose: to defend the planet from the alien threat. Alex, however, didn't know any of this. He had no idea that his simple curiosity and the artifact he had found had changed the course of human history. He simply stood there, watching as the world outside descended into chaos. But his actions had set something in motion, something that would not only change the fate of Earth, but also the fate of the alien invaders who thought they could easily conquer the planet. As Alex's life slipped away from him in that abandoned base, his death became the catalyst for humanity's rise. The fleet was now active, and humanity's hidden strength was about to be unleashed. But the aliens, too, had no idea what they were about to face. They believed Earth was defenseless. They couldn't have been more wrong. With the fleet now awake and Earth's defenses in motion, the story of humanity's fight for survival had only just begun. And the aliens? They were about to learn that the real threat to their empire wasn't the humans they had underestimated, but the ancient power they had unknowingly awakened. The sudden activation of Earth's ancient fleet sent shockwaves through both the planet and the alien empire. People across the world stared in disbelief as the long-forgotten defense systems came to life. The air was thick with a mixture of fear and hope. The news broadcasts blared, showing images of massive warships rising from deep within Earth's crust, their engines firing up and cloaking devices flickering into action. It was like a ghost from the past had awakened, one that was now ready to fight again. For many, this was a moment of triumph, a sign that humanity still had a fighting chance. Yet for others, it was a moment of overwhelming fear. What was this fleet? Would it be enough to save them? And why had it been hidden for so long? In the war rooms and military command centers across the world, leaders scrambled to understand what had happened. They had all heard the legends, the stories of Earth's ancient fleet, built during the war against alien invaders. But those were just stories. The fleet had been decommissioned, locked away, forgotten by time. No one had expected it to return, let alone to be activated by a small child who had stumbled upon a long-lost artifact. The first signs of the fleet's activation were seen on the radar screens. Massive ships, once thought to be mere myth, began to emerge from deep within the Earth's crust. These ships were not like the ones humanity used today. They were enormous, their dark silhouettes towering above anything the human military had ever seen. And the most surprising thing, they were moving with purpose. One ship, in particular, stood out: the Warden. A sentient AI that controlled a vast majority of the fleet. The Warden was a relic from Earth's past, designed to oversee the planet's defense. It was the brain of the fleet, a being of unparalleled intelligence and strength. Its role was to ensure that Earth's defense systems could respond to any alien threat, no matter how advanced. As the ships powered up and began to take formation, the Warden's voice echoed through military channels, calm and steady, but filled with an unmistakable sense of urgency. Earth's defense systems are now fully activated. You are no longer alone. The warden's words sent a wave of relief through the military leaders, but it was also clear that this ancient eye was not here just to protect Earth from the current alien threat. It had a deeper understanding of the situation. The fleet had not just been dormant. It had been waiting for something. Waiting for this moment. The warden knew that this was not the end of Earth's struggle. In fact, it was just the beginning. While the humans tried to comprehend what was happening, the alien invaders were growing increasingly desperate. The alien fleet that had descended upon Earth was part of a larger ancient empire that had been watching the planet for centuries. They had believed that humanity was too weak to pose a threat. They thought that they could easily conquer Earth without much resistance. But now, with the fleet coming online, they realized they had made a critical mistake. The first wave of alien ships had been powerful, their weapons devastating. But Earth's fleet was unlike anything the aliens had ever encountered. The ancient warships, built with technology far superior to anything humanity had today, began to unleash their full might. Cloaking devices activated, making the ships invisible to the alien forces. The fleet moved with the precision of a predator on the hunt, striking from the shadows, leaving the invaders vulnerable and unprepared. In space, the aliens were being torn apart. Their ships, once thought to be invincible, were now falling like fragile toys against the might of Earth's fleet. Every shot from the ancient warships sent shockwaves through the invaders' ranks, disintegrating their ships in a single strike. It was clear that Earth had a weapon far more powerful than anything the aliens had imagined. But even as the tide began to turn in humanity's favor, the warden's warning loomed large. The sentient eye had made it clear to Earth's leaders that this victory was temporary. The fleet's activation was just one piece of the puzzle. The real threat was still out there, hidden in the dark reaches of space. "Prepare yourselves," the warden's voice echoed. "This invasion is not the end. An even greater enemy is coming." The words sent a chill through the military leaders. They had thought they were facing the worst that the universe had to offer. But the warden had seen something far more dangerous. The fleet was not just a tool of defense. It was a weapon built for a greater war, one that humanity had not yet fully understood. And now, with the alien invasion happening in real time, Earth was about to face the true test of its survival. The alien empire had underestimated humanity. They had underestimated the power of Earth's ancient fleet. But now it was clear that the tables had turned. The aliens' first wave had been obliterated, but the invaders had not given up. They began to regroup, sending distress signals back to their mothership, calling for reinforcements. The warden had already anticipated this. The fleet's systems were designed to evolve, to learn from each battle and adapt. As the alien forces began to send out their reinforcements, the fleet adjusted its strategy, focusing on crippling the aliens' command structure first. The warden guided the ships with precision, making every strike count. However, there was no time to celebrate the victories. Earth's leaders, although relieved, understood that the worst was yet to come. The alien invaders had been only the first wave of a much larger, more dangerous force. And yet, despite the mounting tension, Earth's citizens were filled with a strange sense of hope. The fleet had returned, and with it, the possibility of victory. No longer were they helpless against the forces from space. Humanity had the strength to fight back. The ancient warships, once thought to be nothing more than legends, were now humanity's greatest weapon. But time was running out. As the battle in space raged on, a new threat was approaching. The aliens were regrouping, but so was the hidden enemy that the warden had warned them about. An army unlike anything humanity had ever seen, one that could very well spell the end of Earth if it was allowed to reach the planet. The fleet's power was enough to protect Earth for now, but the next battle would be unlike any other. The aliens, desperate to protect their empire, would stop at nothing to destroy humanity's new hope. And Earth's fight for survival had only just begun. The stage was set for a battle of galactic proportions. As the first waves of the alien fleet approached Earth, their commanders were confident. After all, they had seen humanity as nothing more than a primitive race, easily overrun by the power of their advanced technology. For centuries, the alien empire had dominated the stars, and they expected the same swift victory over Earth. What they didn't anticipate, however, was the ancient fleet that had been dormant for so long, ready to defend the planet once again. The alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere with destructive force, unleashing a barrage of energy blasts and plasma beams aimed at Earth's cities. Their goal was clear: to cripple the planet's defenses before any real resistance could form. They thought the human defense systems were outdated, too primitive to pose any serious threat. But they were gravely mistaken. As the alien ships descended, something extraordinary happened. From deep within Earth's crust, the ancient warships, hidden away for centuries, powered up with a hum that resonated through the air. These ships, equipped with advanced cloaking technology, became invisible to the alien forces. Their AI systems, a blend of ancient and modern technology, kicked into gear, synchronizing the entire fleet into one precise, powerful force. The once hidden fleet emerged from the shadows, ready to defend humanity at all costs. The first salvo from Earth's fleet was like a hammer strike against the alien armada. The aliens had expected resistance, but not this level of precision and power. Earth's warships, with their cloaking systems active, struck from every angle, their advanced AI-driven combat strategies overwhelming the alien invaders. High-tech energy weapons tore through the alien ships one by one, their defenses no match for Earth's ancient technology. Captain Elijah Grant, a man haunted by the loss of his family during the first wave of the invasion, was one of the key figures leading the charge. His heart burned with a desire for revenge and justice. The memories of his wife and child, taken from him by the alien invaders, fueled his every move. He had always dreamed of joining the fight. But this moment, this battle, was something he had been training for his entire life. Now his moment had come. Grant stood tall on the bridge of one of Earth's massive warships, the Vanguard, his eyes fixed on the battlefield ahead. He could feel the pulse of the ship's energy, the deep hum of the engines as they powered through space. He gave his orders calmly, but with the authority of a leader who had seen too much loss. Ready all weapons. Target the largest enemy ships first. Lock in cloaking mode and prepare for evasive maneuvers. Captain Grant barked to his crew. The soldiers and officers around him sprang into action, working in perfect harmony. The Vanguard's weapons systems powered up, and its advanced cloaking device activated. The ship disappeared into the void of space, blending into the darkness, a ghost waiting to strike. As the alien forces closed in, they were unaware that Earth's fleet had already set its traps. The warships, invisible to their sensors, began to attack in coordinated waves. Energy beams shot out from the shadows, hitting alien ships with surgical precision. The alien fleet tried to fight back, but they were caught off guard. The firepower from Earth's warships was unlike anything they had faced before. Despite their advanced technology and sheer numbers, the alien ships started to fall. The once unbeatable invaders were now struggling to maintain their formation. It was clear that Earth's fleet had the upper hand. The ancient warships had modern AI and weapons systems integrated with their centuries-old designs, making them the perfect combination of old and new technology. The aliens were no match for the deadly synergy of Earth's defenses. In the midst of the chaos, Captain Grant's ship took a direct hit from one of the alien fighters. The impact rattled the Vanguard, and alarms blared throughout the ship. Grant, unflinching, gripped the armrests of his command chair. His heart raced, but his resolve remained unwavering. "Report," he shouted. "Direct hit to the starboard side, sir. Shields holding. Minimal damage," came the response. Grant's eyes narrowed. They weren't going to get an easy win. The alien forces were powerful, and they were relentless. but he knew that Earth's fleet was more than capable of holding its own. He couldn't afford to lose focus now, not after all that had been lost. The space battle intensified as Earth's ships continued to strike. The alien fleet was faltering under the pressure, their ships exploding one after another. The Vanguard moved in for another strike, its weapons glowing with deadly energy. The sound of space battles, the thunderous roar of weapons firing, filled the comms. Captain Grant watched as another alien destroyer exploded in a spectacular display of fire and debris. The crew cheered, but their victory was short-lived. The alien fleet had a commander who was not going to let this defeat go unanswered. On the alien flagship, Commander Xilzor watched with growing rage as his fleet crumbled. His mind burned with frustration and humiliation. How had Earth, this insignificant planet, managed to activate such powerful weapons? His fleet, the pride of the alien empire, was being torn apart by these primitive humans. He would not allow this disgrace to stand. "Send the order to deploy the bioweapons," Commander Xilzor growled. "Earth will pay for this humiliation." The alien bioweapons were a devastating creation, genetically engineered creatures capable of annihilating entire populations. Xilzor had kept them in reserve, hidden away for a moment just like this. He knew that if Earth's fleet was to be destroyed, he needed to strike at humanity's most vulnerable point: their civilians. The bioweapons would target Earth's cities, infecting populations with a deadly virus that could spread like wildfire. Xilzor knew that the human fleet was a formidable force, but nothing would stop him from wiping them out completely. The bioweapons were his final card, and he was determined to play it. As his forces began to deploy the deadly agents, he couldn't help but smile, imagining the horror that would soon unfold across Earth. Back on Earth, Captain Grant's eyes widened in shock as a new signal flashed across the radar screens. The enemy fleet was deploying something strange. His instincts kicked in, and he immediately ordered his crew to change course. "Get ready. We've got a new threat coming our way," he shouted. The crew scrambled to make adjustments, their hands flying over consoles as they tracked the incoming alien bioweapons. They were coming fast. Too fast to intercept with conventional weapons. Grant gritted his teeth. This was a new phase of the battle. The aliens weren't just attacking with their ships, they were preparing to unleash something far more insidious. As the bioweapons hurtled toward Earth, Grant knew that this battle was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. The aliens had underestimated humanity once again, but now the stakes had been raised. The war for Earth's survival had entered a new deadly phase. The war had reached a new devastating level. Earth's soldiers, working with the most advanced technology they could muster, fought with everything they had. Old equipment, repurposed to work with the new high-tech systems, became their last line of defense. The strategy was clear: hold the line at all costs. Earth had only one option left to survive the alien invasion: defeat them with the power of their ancient weapon, an ancient dreadnought capable of annihilating entire alien fleets. But reaching it would require more than just courage. It would require a sacrifice. Captain Elijah Grant, haunted by the ghosts of his lost family, was the perfect leader for this mission. He had seen the destruction caused by the alien forces, had felt the weight of grief and rage every single day. He knew the price of failure, and he was willing to pay it. Grant had trained for years for this moment, and as the final battle loomed, he understood that this was not just about winning. It was about saving Earth. The alien forces had adapted quickly. Their bioweapons, engineered for maximum destruction, had already started to spread across Earth's cities. The infection was taking hold, killing hundreds of thousands with terrifying speed. But the aliens were not stopping there. They unleashed their most powerful weapon yet: mech soldiers. These towering war machines, with their impenetrable armor and devastating firepower, began to push back Earth's forces, inching closer and closer to their defenses. Earth's soldiers fought valiantly, but it became clear that they were being overwhelmed. Even with their advanced technology and tactical superiority, they couldn't stop the mech soldiers from tearing through their ranks. The alien commander had played his final card, and it seemed like victory was slipping through humanity's fingers. As the battle raged on, Captain Grant watched the fight unfold from the command center. His soldiers were holding their own, but the alien forces were too numerous, and their mech soldiers too powerful. His heart was heavy with the memories of his wife and child, who had been killed by these same invaders. The pain of their loss fueled him, but it also steeled his resolve. He knew that the only way to stop the aliens was to activate Earth's ultimate weapon, the ancient dreadnought that could change the tide of the war. But there was a catch. To activate the dreadnought, Grant and his team would have to infiltrate the heart of the alien stronghold. The dreadnought had been hidden for centuries, dormant and waiting, and its activation required a risky maneuver. A small strike team would need to breach the heavily guarded alien fortress and manually trigger the ancient systems. It was a suicide mission, one where survival was unlikely. Yet, Grant knew that without it, Earth had no hope. He gathered his most trusted soldiers. They knew what was at stake, and they knew the risks. Many of them had families they would never see again, but they had all come to understand the gravity of the situation. Earth was on the brink of annihilation, and they were the last line of defense. "All right, team," Captain Grant said, his voice steady despite the weight of the mission ahead. "We're going in, and we're going to make sure Earth has a future. This is it, the final push. We're going to activate the dreadnought and bring this fight to the aliens." His soldiers nodded, their faces grim but resolute. They had lost too much already, but they still had the will to fight. They understood the sacrifice that was required. The team boarded their dropship, heading toward the heart of the alien stronghold. As the ship cut through the atmosphere, Captain Grant looked out the window at the battlefield below. Earth was being torn apart, but there was still a glimmer of hope. The dreadnought was the planet's last chance, and he would not let it slip away. The dropship landed just outside the alien fortress, its engines roaring as it touched down. The team disembarked quickly, moving with precision. They had one objective: reach the dreadnought and activate it. The alien stronghold was heavily guarded. The mech soldiers, towering over the human soldiers, patrolled the perimeter, while alien forces kept watch from every angle. But Grant and his team were determined. They fought through wave after wave of alien soldiers, using everything they had to push forward. The battle was brutal, and the sound of gunfire and explosions filled the air. It felt like the very earth beneath them was shaking as they pressed on. Captain Grant's mind never wavered. His memories of his family, the pain of their loss, kept him going. The alien invaders had taken everything from him, but he would be damned if he let them take Earth as well. As they reached the inner sanctum of the fortress, they encountered the final obstacle, the alien commander. Silzar, the ruthless alien leader, stood waiting for them. His eyes burned with hatred and arrogance, confident that he had already won. He had watched humanity struggle, watched as their last hope faded, and now he would finish what he had started. "You really think you can stop me?" Silzar sneered, his voice filled with contempt. "You're too late. The bioweapons are already in motion. Your planet is mine." Grant stepped forward, his face set in a hard line. "Not if I can help it," he said, his voice low and filled with conviction. "This ends now." With a fierce battle cry, the two forces clashed. The alien commander and his soldiers fought with everything they had, but Grant's team was relentless. They fought through the alien forces, pushing forward step by step. But as the battle raged on, it became clear that Captain Grant knew this mission would end in sacrifice. He had always known that he might not make it back. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Grant and his team reached the central control panel that activated the dreadnought. He placed his hand on the device, and with a deep breath, he initiated the sequence. "Goodbye, Earth," Grant whispered, knowing this was the moment when his life would be forever tied to the fate of his planet. The ground trembled as the ancient dreadnought came to life, its massive weapons systems activating. It was a sight to behold, an unstoppable force of nature rising from the ashes of Earth's old military might. The dreadnought's weapons fired, and in a massive explosion of light, the alien stronghold was obliterated. Alien ships around the world fell from the sky, crashing into the earth below. As the dust settled and the battle ended, Captain Grant lay motionless on the ground, his sacrifice the catalyst for Earth's victory. His final words, whispered in the heat of battle, echoed in the hearts of those who survived. Earth's soldiers, inspired by his courage and unwavering determination, vowed to continue the fight. As Earth's forces regrouped, they knew that this battle was only the beginning. The road to peace would be long and difficult, but they now had a glimmer of hope, a future where humanity could rebuild, inspired by the ultimate sacrifice of one man who had given everything for the planet he loved. The battle for Earth was over. The skies were quiet. The ground, once torn apart by explosions and bloodshed, now lay still under a fading sun. The alien invaders, who had once seemed unstoppable, lay scattered, their ships destroyed, their forces decimated. But the victory came at an immense cost. Captain Elijah Grant, the man who had led humanity's final charge, was dead. His sacrifice, along with the sacrifices of countless soldiers who had fought beside him, had tipped the scales in favor of Earth. The victory, however, was bittersweet. Earth's forces stood among the ruins of the battlefield, their hearts heavy with grief. Soldiers who had lost comrades in the fighting, civilians who had seen their homes and cities destroyed. Everyone had felt the sting of loss. It was hard to rejoice in victory when the price had been so high. The stories of heroism and bravery would echo for generations, but they could never erase the pain of those who had fallen. As the smoke cleared and Earth's fleet returned to its home planet, there was no celebration, only reflection. But one thing was certain: Earth had endured. The aliens had underestimated the resilience of humanity, and now the survivors stood united in the face of their victory. And the fleet, once thought to be an ancient relic of the past, had proven to be the key to Earth's salvation. But as the dust settled and the echoes of war faded, the Warden, the sentient eye that had guided Earth's fleet through the chaos, made a startling revelation. It spoke to the leaders of Earth, its voice calm and measured, as it had always been. Earth's true strength, the Warden said, is not in its military might, nor in the advanced technology of its fleet. It is in something far more powerful: its unity, its resilience, and its determination to survive. The leaders of Earth listened intently. The Warden's words struck a chord deep within them. For all the technology and weapons that Earth had used to defeat the invaders, it had been something more: the unwavering spirit of humanity that had made the difference. The fleet, which had once seemed like a forgotten relic of an ancient war, had become a symbol of unity. It had brought together people from all walks of life: soldiers, scientists, civilians, all united under the banner of survival and hope. It was not the power of the dreadnought or the might of our fleet that won this war, the Warden continued. It was your unity, your refusal to bow down in the face of overwhelming odds. It was the strength of every individual who fought, who sacrificed, who believed in a future. That is what made Earth's fleet so powerful. The leaders of Earth stood in silence, contemplating the Warden's words. It was true. In the face of destruction, in the face of death, humanity had come together. They had fought not just for survival, but for something greater, for the future of their children, for the preservation of their way of life, for the belief that no matter how dark the world might get, they could rise above it. As the Warden spoke, it became clear to all that Earth's true power lay not in its technology, but in the hearts of its people. The ancient dreadnought, which had once been a symbol of fear and destruction, was now a symbol of hope. The fleet, once a collection of forgotten ships, had become a testament to the resilience of humanity. It had been built not just with metal and circuitry, but with the hopes and dreams of a species that refused to give up. As the warden finished its speech, it revealed something even more remarkable. The fleet, it said, is not just a weapon. It is a legacy. It is a message to the galaxy that humanity will never be defeated, that no matter what force comes against them, they will always stand united. And now, that legacy will echo throughout the stars. The leaders of Earth were left speechless. The realization that their victory was not just about survival, but about something much deeper, struck them all at once. Earth had become a symbol, a beacon of hope in a galaxy that had known too much destruction. The fleet, which had once been a simple military tool, had become a testament to the strength of human will. But the peace was short-lived. Despite their defeat, the alien forces were not content to simply vanish. As the Earth's fleet strengthened its position in the galaxy, an emissary from the alien empire arrived, a final, desperate plea for mercy. The alien commander, the one who had once orchestrated the invasion, stood before the leaders of Earth, his face twisted in a mixture of fear and arrogance. "We were wrong," the alien commander said, his voice trembling. "We underestimated your strength. We see now that humanity is not to be trifled with. We surrender. Please, spare us. Spare the remaining members of our empire. We beg for your mercy." The leaders of Earth stared at the alien commander in disbelief. The tables had turned completely. Just days before, Earth had been on the brink of destruction, fighting for its very survival. Now, the alien invaders, who had once thought of themselves as superior, were begging for mercy. The warden, ever logical, was quick to remind the leaders of Earth, "This is a moment of great power. Your decision will shape the future of this galaxy. You have the choice to either show mercy or to assert your dominance. But remember, the strength you show now will determine the legacy of humanity." The leaders of Earth gathered in council, contemplating their next move. It was a decision that would define not just their future, but the future of the entire galaxy. Mercy or vengeance, it was a choice that carried the weight of their history, their values, and their dreams. After much debate, the leaders of Earth made their decision. They would show mercy. They would offer the alien forces a chance to coexist, to rebuild what had been destroyed, and to forge a new path forward. It was not an easy decision, but it was the right one. Earth had fought for its survival, and now it would fight for peace. The alien commander, though shocked by the decision, bowed his head in submission. "We will honor your mercy," he said, "and we will work to rebuild what we have broken. We offer our hand in peace." As the alien forces withdrew, the Earth's fleet stood ready. The galaxy, once filled with uncertainty and fear, now had a new force to reckon with, a force built not on hatred, but on the power of unity. Earth had proven that its strength was not in its weapons, but in its people, and that, above all else, was the true power of humanity. With their victory secure, Earth's fleet began to expand its influence throughout the galaxy. No longer a small planet on the fringe of the galaxy, Earth had established itself as a power to be reckoned with. Its fleet, once just a symbol of defense, now stood as a shining beacon of hope and unity. Humanity had come a long way from the brink of annihilation. The sacrifices of Captain Grant and the soldiers who had fought alongside him would never be forgotten. Their legacy would live on in the hearts of those who survived, and in the future that Earth had now secured for itself. And so, Earth began its new journey, not as a defeated planet, but as a united force, ready to face whatever challenges the universe might throw its way. For in the end, it was not the power of weapons that had won the war, but the unbreakable strength of humanity's will to survive, to unite, and to rise above the darkness. As the dust of war finally settled over Earth, the once battered world began to heal. The skies, which had been clouded by the smog of battle, slowly cleared, giving way to a new dawn. The Earth that had once been on the brink of destruction now stood as a symbol of triumph. The invincible alien empire that had sought to enslave humanity was no more, and the people of Earth could finally look to the future with hope in their hearts. But this victory came with a price, and the scars of war would remain forever imprinted in the memories of those who had lived through it. The leaders of Earth gathered in the heart of their newly rebuilt capital. It was a day of reflection. The planet had endured the greatest trial it had ever faced, and now it was time to reflect on everything that had been lost and gained. The sacrifices of the soldiers, the pain of the families who had lost loved ones, and the bravery of those who had fought against impossible odds. All of it had led to this moment. As they stood in the Grand Hall, the leaders shared their thoughts. "We have come so far," said President Sarah Jackson, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "We've fought, we've lost, and we've endured. But what matters now is that we've won. We've shown the galaxy that humanity is not to be underestimated. We've proven that we have the strength to defend ourselves and the unity to overcome any force that dares to challenge us." The mood in the room was somber, as each leader silently recalled the cost of the victory. They remembered Captain Elijah Grant, whose ultimate sacrifice had sparked the turning point in the war. They remembered the soldiers who had never returned home, the families who had lost their homes and their loved ones. There was grief, but there was also a deep sense of pride. The people of Earth had come together, as one, to face an overwhelming enemy, and they had prevailed. But President Jackson knew that this victory was not just about survival. "This is not the end," she continued, her voice filled with determination. "This is just the beginning of a new era. We've shown the galaxy that we are strong, and that we will never again allow ourselves to be bullied by any force, alien or otherwise. We will rebuild, and we will continue to grow. Earth will rise from the ashes of war, stronger than ever before." As she spoke, the leaders of Earth shared a moment of silent agreement. They had made it through the darkest of times, and now they would work together to create a new future. Earth would not just survive, it would thrive. It would become a beacon of hope for the rest of the galaxy. But what about the rest of the galaxy? How will the other civilizations view Earth now? It was a question that weighed heavily on the minds of many. Earth had fought to survive, but now it was more than that. Earth had fought to protect its future, and in doing so, it had revealed its power to the galaxy. The Warden, Earth's fleet's AI, had been an essential part of their victory. Its advanced technology and strategic guidance had been crucial in defeating the alien forces. But now, as Earth looked toward the future, the Warden had its final words to say. "Humanity," the Warden said, its voice calm and unwavering as always, has proven itself to be more than a species that survives. It has shown that it has the strength to rise above its challenges, the courage to face its fears, and the unity to protect what matters most. Earth is no longer a vulnerable planet on the edge of the galaxy. It is a new force, a protector of peace and justice, in a galaxy that has known far too much war. The Warden's words resonated with everyone in the room. For the first time in history, Earth had established itself as a force to be reckoned with, a planet that would stand as a beacon of hope and security in the galaxy. No longer would Earth be looked down upon as weak or insignificant. It was a power in its own right, and it had earned the respect of the galaxy. The Warden continued, "As Earth's fleet moves into the stars, it will do so with purpose. It will patrol the far reaches of the galaxy, protecting humanity and its allies from any threat. No alien empire will dare challenge Earth's supremacy again. You are no longer simply survivors of an invasion. You are the future of the galaxy." The leaders exchanged glances. The weight of this revelation was immense. They had fought to preserve Earth's future, and now, thanks to their sacrifices, Earth would not only survive, it would thrive. The time had come to look beyond their own planet and take on a new role. Earth was not just the home of humanity anymore. It was the protector of peace and justice, the voice of reason in a galaxy filled with chaos and war. Captain Grant's sacrifice was not in vain. His bravery had inspired Earth's forces, and now his legacy would live on as the foundation of this new era. The pain of his loss, and the loss of so many others, would never fade. But their sacrifices had ensured that Earth would be free from the threat of alien domination. Earth's fleet, once a symbol of defense, now became a symbol of unity and strength. The warships, massive and powerful, moved silently through the stars, their engines glowing with the light of 1,000 suns. They patrolled the edges of Earth's territories, ready to respond to any threat that might arise. Their mission was clear: to protect humanity, to defend the innocent, and to ensure that no alien empire would ever again dare challenge Earth's position in the galaxy. As the ships sailed through the vastness of space, the people of Earth began to rebuild. Cities were reconstructed, homes were repaired, and the wounds of war slowly began to heal. But even as the physical scars of the war faded, the emotional scars remained. The stories of those who had fallen, the heroes who had given their lives for the survival of Earth, would be told for generations to come. Their bravery would live on in the hearts of every human being, fueling the determination to never again allow Earth to fall into the hands of those who would seek to destroy it. In the years that followed, Earth would establish itself as a central power in the galaxy. Other civilizations would seek Earth's counsel, and humanity would share its knowledge and wisdom with those who were willing to learn. The bonds of unity that had been forged in the fires of war would be carried forward into this new era. Earth's fleet would stand as a constant reminder to the galaxy that humanity was not a species to be feared or oppressed, but one to be respected and admired. And so, the story of Earth's rise from the ashes of destruction became a legend, a tale of unity, strength, and sacrifice. It was a story that would be told for generations to come, a story that would inspire countless others to believe in the power of resilience, determination, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. The new beginning had begun. Earth was no longer a planet under siege. It was a beacon of hope in a galaxy that had seen too much darkness. And as the fleet patrolled the stars, ready to defend against any threat, Earth stood as a symbol of what could be achieved when people came together, united in purpose and vision, to protect their future. The galaxy had witnessed humanity's rise, and there was no going back. Earth had proven itself to be more than just a survivor. It was a force to be reckoned with, a protector of peace, and the shining example of what can be achieved when humanity stands united. The new era had arrived, and Earth was ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring.